What's going on, UCM? Welcome to this week's edition of Faces of UCM. And today we are here with one of the faces of the sports broadcasting department. He's helped a lot of our student interns here at UCM, including myself, through Prepcast Central Missouri, the director of Prepcast Central Missouri, Mr. Charlie Brown. Charlie, how's it going?
We're just busy as usual, Nick.
Yeah, especially this time of year. So for those who don't know what Prepcast is, what is it?
Prepcast is an internet-based live streaming of high school sports and events. They're not just only sports, but mostly sporting events. We do proms. We'll do almost anything. We've got the Warrensburg Schools Foundation auction coming up Saturday night that we're going to do that for them so they can have a virtual auction. But basically we are an online streamer of high school sporting events.
So how did you get started in broadcasting? Did it start with Prepcast, or did you do some of that before?
It did not start with Prepcast. I started out about 6 years ago as a replacement baseball announcer for Boonville radio station. Their sports director got sick and he could not do the ball games anymore. So I called the radio owner and said, I've never broadcast before, but I've been around baseball my whole life. So he gave me a shot with that, and I did well enough that I went from that to softball with him. Then I went to basketball with him. Then I went to football with him. So that's how I got started, and how I ended up with Prepcast was that I was doing a sectional girls high school basketball game at Lee Summit High School. Boonville was playing up there against St. Pius, and sitting next to me was a gentleman that broadcast for Prepcast. And he listened to my broadcast while he was doing his broadcast. And when it was over, he leaned over and gave me a card. And he said, if you ever want to do more than this, let me know. I'd be glad to take you on and give you some more games. So the next fall, I gave him a phone call and signed up and started doing some ball games for him. And now I kind of do both of those things. I do some Boonville games. I do Warrensburg games. I do some Smith Cotton games when you're not doing those, plus the Boonville games and some others. So that's how I got started. I had no experience whatsoever. I was 57 years old with no experience. So I should be an encouragement to all of you 20-year-olds out there they're worried.
So throughout your broadcasting career, what's been your favorite memory?
Oh, I think having parents come up to me and tell me that their parents, grandparents of players are watching in different states or even different countries, and that they appreciate the fact that their relatives get a chance to see their kids play. And I think that's the biggest plus that I can get out of any of this, is somebody coming up and saying, we appreciate it. My parents are in California. My parents are in Wisconsin. My parents are overseas, and they're able to watch their grandson play ball. And that's been a big thing. We've had a lady come up to us that her husband was deployed overseas, and he was watching the broadcast of his son's last high school basketball game. And he hadn't seen him since the middle of football season. So he was watching us overseas somewhere, and being able to get him to where he could see his son that he hadn't seen in months play a basketball game was really a big thing for us.
Yeah, and of course, that is an amazing thing too, what Prepcast has been able to do. And of course, Prepcast is also, through yourself and of course Tim Miller in St. Louis, helped a lot of students here, especially here at UCM, like myself, get into sports broadcasting. So for those who haven't heard about Prepcast, how can they get involved?
They can just give me a call, or they can drop me a line at charlie.prepcast@gmail.com. They can get the information from you or one of the other students. And if you're interested in doing production work, videography, color of a certain sport, or wanting to become a play-by-play guy, we'll give you an opportunity, because I've got almost another 100 games. We had 100 games this fall, and I've got about another 100 games this winter. So we've got spots to plug kids in. If you've got an interest, if you would like to run the camera and you want to get some experience, we'll give it to you. If you want to run our software and run our equipment, we'll run our laptop, our mixer and stuff, we can do that as well. If you have an interest, we'll work with you in getting a voice and a system for you to be able to have some success in broadcasting. It's a great experience.
Absolutely, I agree. And of course, that's about all we have time for here on Faces of UCM. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. Glad to do it, Nick.
And for everybody at Faces UCM and Mr. Charlie Brown, my name's Nick Thomas. We will see you next week.